Hello, everyone. Welcome to another episode of 100 Yards Football Sports Talk Radio. I'm your host and producer this afternoon, Logan Landers, and join me to help break down Blake Watson, the running back out of Memphis, Mr. William Yanish III. How you doing, man?
Oh, I'm doing great, Logan. How about yourself, man?
Doing good, man. Doing good. Glad to be here. Glad to talk about this tremendous prospect. So let's just get right into it, man. Let's talk about Blake Watson. What do you like about the young man coming out of Memphis?
Oh man, this is an evaluation that I'm doing for our friend Vincent Turner. I mean, we ended up talking about this guy, and I'm like, you know something. Started watching a little bit of his films, and then pretty soon I had to watch more, and I had to watch more, and I mean, pretty soon, with Vincent being a Memphis native, I figured this would be a good one, for me to do for him, just out of my thing. Watson is a smaller type running back, 5'9", 195 pounds. But I mean, the stats and the numbers that he puts up, and I mean, having like a 4.39 40, and I mean, this kid, you know, he won't outrun everyone, but he, will definitely outrun most. I mean, he's got himself a top end gear, and I mean, when he touches a ball, I mean, he is such a smooth, patient runner. Last time I saw that was, you know, anything comparable to that. It was Le'Veon Bell, out of Pittsburgh. Just that running style where he'd sit back and watch the field in front of him, and I mean, just break from there, and just the patience that he runs with. And it's not as extreme with Watson, but the shades of it are there. And I mean, for being a late round sleeper pick somewhere, there's not a whole lot of people talking about Blake Watson, and I think that could definitely be a problem, because I mean, he every year, there's undrafted free agents, there's late round picks, Terrell Davis, Adrian Foster's the world, so far and far, that there is. Watson was one. I just, got done with my evaluation last night. I sent Vincent the rough draft, for him to read. And, you know, watching this kid play, I mean, I can see, so many of the different traits and qualities that, translate to the NFL, especially, where this guy can line up on the field, anywhere, like a Christian McCaffrey light kind of back, so something like that, to where they can split out in the slot, or even out wide. And I mean, with the speed and everything else, like I said, the one concerning thing is his size. But I mean, the NFL is getting smaller and faster anyway, so it's not what it used to be. Just being a cheeseburger away from 200 pounds like he is. But
And what I like about him too is, you mentioned he's a guy who's underrated, obviously coming out of Memphis. But when I look at him, I see a guy who's had 2 seasons of over 1,000 yards. I see someone who scored 14 touchdowns on the ground this past season, 3 in the air, and is someone who, like you mentioned, 5'9", around 195, right around 200, isn't getting enough love, man. I don't understand it. I don't. And look, I know Memphis, everyone's going to say it's a basketball powerhouse. I get that. But Blake Watson deserves some recognition. That's what we're here to do today. We're here to shine some light on this young man. Talk about him, talk about his game, and why he is so impressive. I like Blake Watson, man. I really do. He's a guy who is going to fall in the draft, but that might be a blessing in disguise, William. Because if you fall in the draft, for the most part, you might go to a better team,
exactly,
which would help you get more shine, help you at a better role. And that's where I think Blake Watson steps in beautifully. A guy who transferred to Memphis this past year in 2023, like I said, played in 12 games, ran for over 1,000 yards, 177 carries, 5.9 yards per carry as well. I mean, that doesn't fumble much at all. Either only had 2 fumbles this past year. And like I said, is kind of sneaky good when it comes to catching the ball. Really solid runner, as you mentioned. Good comparison to Le'Veon Bell, someone who's he has that speed, but is more so going to be kind of a patient running back. Lets the play develop, and it just isn't a guy who goes kind of full speed ahead, which is good, because I think there's a lot of guys who just kind of go full speed, but they end up running into a wall and not just waiting. And he's just an electric guy. He's a playmaker. That's what he is.
Exactly.
Um, he's good at catching too. He's not going to just kind of let the ball come to him. He's going to jump up and get it. And that's really what's going to help him is, yes, his running game is solid, but I think it's his pass catching ability that's really going to let him shine in the National Football League. What are your final thoughts on Blake Watson, my friend? What else do you like about this young man?
Well, the thing is, like I said, with Vincent being from, Memphis and, his Dallas Cowboys need a running back, I figure that's perfect, fit right there. When they're starting running back is Rico Dowell or whatever his name is. And, I mean, it would be a perfect match for that team in that situation. And for, fans like Vincent and stuff like that, I believe that would be a excellent place for him. And I believe that this kid's going to have an excellent career. And, the more he can get in the passing game, I think the better he's going to be. So,
yeah, we will see what happens, man. It's going to be fun. And I'm excited to see where Blake Watson's going to go. Well, hey, Mr. William Yanish, man, I appreciate it. I appreciate you coming on the show, talking about this. And it's been an absolute pleasure, man. If you guys want to hear us talk about more NFL draft prospects, you can do so Thursday, April 25th, 7:30 p.m. live Eastern Standard Time, that is. And it is going to be a fun time. We're going to be doing draft reactions, draft breakdowns, who's going where, who your team's going to get, and who's going to be selected number one overall. It's going to be a fun time. William Yanish, man, appreciate you coming on the show once again. I've been your host and producer, Logan Landers. We'll talk to you guys again on another live episode. We'll see you later.